Sino po si June Pala?
Well, he was a broadcaster.
He is a broadcaster who used to criticize you during his programs. Tama po ba?
Everybody, pati ako, tama yan. Trabaho niya yan.
And according to the testimony of Arturo Las Cañas, you ordered the killing of June Pala.
Niwala kay Las Cañas. Lahat na nandang participation ng crime niya, kanya. There's a pattern, you know. Look at the pattern of the crimes. Kanya lahat ng ano. Do you believe that as a policeman? Would I? Would I?
Kanina po, Mr. President, I started my interpellation with acknowledging your courage in taking full legal responsibility to all the victims of war on drugs, and you said both legal and illegal. The reasons why I asked about Laod Quarry, where human bones were found. The reason why I asked about the Dumoy raid, where 11 Chinese personalities were summarily brought and killed to Laod Quarry. The reason about why I asked about the mosque bombing and the killing of June Pala is I wanted to substantiate the courage that I saw on you when you initially expressed taking full legal responsibility to all the victims of war on drugs, both legal and illegal, according to you.
You are substantiate?
Yes, Mr. President.
Where's the proof?
Mr. President, I'm anchoring my questions about the separate incidents from your initial statement that you are taking full legal responsibility
Yes.
to all the victims of war on drugs. You said both legal and illegal.
Yes.
Mr. President, you are a long-time prosecutor, correct? And of course, it is very fundamental upon us, all lawyers, the requirements of due process.
We are zeroing in on a particular individual now.
Due process is the law which hears before it condemns. Due process is the law which requires notice and hearing.
If you say so.
Mr. President, I hope that we will be reminded that by due process, the end does not justify the means. Kanina po, tinanong din po kayo ni Honorable Brosas about the number of the victims of war on drugs. Tinanong po kayo about statistics, and you lamented na hindi nyo po alam or dala yung records. Now, I want to share to the public the statistics of the victims of war on drugs.
Well, we are...
Mr. President, this is from PIDEA. I think this is a consolidated effort of Karapatan, Global Witness, National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, the Supreme Court, Rappler, and the Philippine Drug and Enforcement Agency. We have 6,252 individuals in police anti-drug operations as of May 2022. 27,000 to 30,000 individuals, including those killed vigilant style. 427 activists, human rights defenders, grassroots organizers as of December 2021. Land and environment defenders as of December 2020, 166. Journalists, media workers, as of April 2022, 23 victims. Judges, lawyers, prosecutors, as of December 2021, 66 victims. And mayors, vice mayors, as of December 2021, 28 victims, Mr. President. Mr. President, my question is, when you implement war on drugs, did you strictly comply with the requirement of due process.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I will wrap up. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Chair, it is my humble submission that contrary to the answer of the former president, I humbly believe that the former president and his war on drugs never complied with the requirements of due process. The statistics show, Mr. President, the huge number of victims of war on drugs. If my memory serves me right, during the time of Aquino administration, there are like around 200, and during the present administration, there are around like 200 victims as well of war on drugs. Given these statistics, Mr. Chair, this is almost or around 31,000 victims of war on drugs, if indeed they follow the requirement of due process. Wala po dapat ganito karaming patay. At ang dapat, maraming kaso na pending in court. I hope all of us will be reminded by the fundamental law that no person should be deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process of law. By Mr. President's own admission of his accountability, both to legal and illegal actions of the police, it is the humble submission of this representation, Mr. Chair, that the Quadcom is ready to make a recommendation for the filing of the necessary action in court. That is a violation of the law, RA 9851, Act defining and penalizing crimes against international humanitarian law, or at the very least, the murder cases as defined under the revised penal code. To finally conclude, Mr. Chair, last series of questions to Mr. President, again to substantiate the courage that he was able to show during the initial part of this hearing. Mr. President, in the past hearing of Quadcom, may 30 Chinese drug lords na napatay sa Davao Penal Colony. Are you willing to take accountability and responsibility also for this?
Wala na ako niyan, ma'am. Nandito na ako sa Maynila.
So, you're saying no.
Oh, well, kung gusto mo isali yan, idagdag mo na, okay lang.
How about the death of General Barayuga, the PSCSO Secretary? Are you willing to take full legal responsibility for this?
I do not kill generals.
The death of Mayor Aldong Parohinog and the 15 others in Osamis City, are you taking full responsibility on this?
Hindi ako nagpapatay ng mga mayor, ma'am.
The death of Mayor Espinosa of Albuera Leyte, are you taking full responsibility on this?
Hindi, ma'am. That's my birthplace.
The death of Tony Halili in Tanawan City.
Malayo yan siya sa akin, ma'am.
The death of Mayor Perez of Los Baños.
Lalo na.
Ibalik ko po dun sa una niyong sinabi. If you are denying all this, alin po yung tinutukoy nyo when you said you are taking full legal responsibility to all the victims of war on drugs, both legal and illegal?
Yes. Kasi order ko kasi that was my campaign against drug. Na alam mo, maraming istasyon, maraming pulis. Kung nagkaletse-letse doon, hindi ka maghugas ng kamay. Dapat sabihin mo, akin dyan, kasi of course, nagkamali sila. Now, if there is an appropriate action na gusto ninyong ilabas, then file the case in court. Wala nang pigil. Matagal na yan yung sabi extrajudicial killing. I am challenging anybody or everybody who makes the accusation, whether it is really true or not, it may be true, file the case in court because may korte tayo. And even if I will admit na totoo yan, you have to go to court because I will make the admission there again.
Are you saying, Mr. President, that when you go to court, you're willing to admit also your accountability for all the deaths during the war on drugs?
Ay, of course, may abogado man ako, ma'am. Kung ano sabihin ng abogado ko, sunod ako.
I hope that everything that you said before the Quad can be reduced in writing so that truly we can believe that you're taking full legal responsibility to all the victims of war on drugs, both legal and illegal, because as lawyers we believe that by extrajudicial confession, we have to put that in writing, Mr. President.
Totoo yan, ma'am. I order the campaign against drugs. Hindi ako it's a policy of government or of the president. Hindi ako maghugas ng kamay. Hindi ako magsabi hindi kasi yung department niya, hindi, akin yun.
Mr. President, last question. If one of these days the ICC will come, will you voluntarily submit yourself?
Sipain ko pa sila, ma'am.
But you said a while ago that if somebody will sponsor your fare to the ICC, you will voluntarily submit yourself to their investigation and jurisdiction.
Yes. Pero kung sila magpunta dito, sipain ko.
But will you confirm that you are willing to submit voluntarily yourself to ICC?
Punta ko doon, sipain ko rin sila. Same.
I have nothing further, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Congresswoman Luistro.